And faith is this weird kind of a thing, because if we have faith, it makes it easier to remain optimistic and positive. So it's like this little cycle. Well, we got to have faith in order to be able to remain optimistic and positive. But guess what? If we have some faith, it's easier to remain optimistic and positive. So faith is like this thing that's there. One little word is so big and so huge and so important. So I move into spiritual practices that will allow me to renew my faith every single day, no matter what. No matter what. So, I was just talking about faith and how faith makes it easier to remain positive and upbeat and optimistic and feel good and create good stuff in our life. And yet, we have to have faith in order to do that. But if we do that, we get more faith, and it's a cycle. Well, Ernest Holmes has a different way of talking about it. And faith is kind of this feeling thing. For me, faith isn't anything in my head. It's not anything intellectual. Faith is down here at gut level. But Ernest Holmes, for those of you who like to stay in their headspace, he's up here. Here's what he says. He's talking about the law here, about this creative process, about choosing possibility and having faith. And he says, hence, it follows that if we believe that it will not work, it really works by appearing to not work. When we believe that it cannot and will not, then according to the principle, it does not. But when it does not, it still does, only it does according to our belief that it will not. Now, isn't that classic Ernest Holmes? If we believe it, it happens. If we don't believe it, it happens. Basically is what he's saying. So sometimes we got to work on our beliefs along with our faith. And Ernest Holmes, he cracks me up, guys. He writes things like that, and I go, what? And I read it again, and I go, well, yeah. But it's really funny the way he puts things sometimes. It's a source of great humor. But this law thing that he's talking about, that law is a pathway for us to choose possibilities. And on that path, we get to have faith, and we get to change our beliefs if we need to. Because that path moves us from lack and limitation to change and to possibility. He's talking about faith here. When he talks about the law, he's talking about faith. So what does all this mean in real life? Faith and possibilities and the law and choosing possibilities and creativity. And so I have a little story for you. It's about a community called the Center for Spiritual Living Bakersfield. When I first got here, I guess it's been about 6 or 7 months now, you guys had some appearances going on. You were getting about 25 to 30 people on a Sunday. Look at us now. We're getting 50 plus every Sunday in 7 months. I sensed that you were wary of why I was here and what I was going to do here. There was some lack and limitation. You said you wanted certain things, but I wasn't feeling any energy. I wasn't feeling any oomph. You guys were just kind of here. You were a little discouraged. You were a little wary. And some of you were suspicious of me. Some of you were like, well, we've been there, done that before. And I come and I'm like, okay, I'm holding the high watch for these people. And we've got some work to do. And some of you dug in and you did the work. You came to the forgiveness workshops. You came to the grief workshops. You came to any workshop I offered. You did the inner work. And enough of you did this inner work. And then while that was happening, there were other people showing up and going, I think I might want to get involved here. And so we had new people showing up and starting to get involved. And I'm looking around here and I'm seeing faces and seeing faces and seeing faces of all of you who have stepped up and said, you know, I don't want to do stuff around here. And you're doing stuff around here. And pretty soon the energy level started to rise. And pretty soon new people started to come in. We have a new person today. Almost every week we've had new people come in. And you've moved yourself from that place of suspicion and wariness and doubt and some lack and some limitation into what is happening today, which is only a precursor to the possibilities for you. You know, you walk in here on a Sunday morning now and the energy level is off the charts, folks. I have never witnessed, I've been an interim minister now for, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 years, something like that. I have never witnessed it happen in a community the way I've witnessed it happen here. You guys haven't. You have it, you've got it going on. You've got this energy, you've got this thing, you've got this enthusiasm. You know, when I got here, I was told one thing. You know, I asked the board of directors, what do you want? And they said, we want a forever full-time minister. I'm like, okay, good, let's do it. And then they proceeded to resist me every step of the way. Not so much anymore, not so much anymore. You've stepped into the possibilities, you guys. I'd like you to all give yourselves a round of applause here. You've stepped into the possibilities. Yeah, each and every one of you has stepped into the possibilities. So you're on this road. You've already made tremendous progress on this road. You've doubled your attendance on Sundays. You've got stuff going on almost every Sunday after the service. You know, we've got yoga. Where's Linsley? I saw her walk in the door. She's here. There she is. We've got yoga. We've got dream stuff. Sharon over there. We've got Ken doing the textbook study on Zoom on Tuesday nights. We've got the yummiest food in the entire universe happening every Sunday after the service. We've got stuff going on here. We've got our meditation at 3 o'clock on Sundays, and I got to tell you guys, if you don't start showing up to that meditation, we're going to shut it down. We need support. What did I say? I'm sorry, Saturday. Maybe that's why you're not showing up. It's on Saturdays at 3 o'clock. So we show up for these things. We show up for these things. Yeah. So here we are progressing along, and I started hearing things. You know, as an interim minister, my role is a little bit different than a regular minister because I come into communities, we got some healing to do and we got some work to do. And I listen. I shamelessly eavesdrop, folks. I know what's going on around here. I shamelessly eavesdrop. I listen, and I hear things. And people start planting seeds. They come up to me and they say things like, you know, we'd like to see this happen. You know, we'd like to see that happen. What if we did this? What if we did that? And I get little seeds. And I started hearing one little thing happen, little comments repeated over and over and over again. And so I started to think to myself, okay, this is a possibility for this community, this thing, that more and more people are whispering. And isn't it like that for you it is like that for us on a personal level. We start to think in the realm of possibilities and choosing possibilities, and we start to get little nudges from that intuitive gut level spirit inside of us. And it starts planting ideas in us. And at first we don't listen to these ideas. But when we get poked enough with the same idea over and over and over again, we start to listen. And then we start to think in terms of possibilities. So I was getting poked with this one idea over and over and over again. And I started to think in terms of possibilities. And I thought, well, how can we do this? How can we do this? And so I came up with a possibility, and I presented it to the board at the board retreat, and they went, "Oh my God, yes." And then we voted on it formally at the board meeting, and they went, "Oh my God, yes." And I'm not going to tell you what that possibility is now. You got to come to the business meeting to find out, okay? I'm not above a little bit of bribery to get you to come to the business meeting, okay? You got to come to the business meeting to find out what that possibility is. You will find out today. It is great. It is grand. And I'm so excited about it. And so that's how this teaching works. Whether it's on the micro level for us personally, you know, we move into this place. We have this thing that this stuff that is. We have how it works in our lives, and we do it, and we work it, and we open up to possibilities, and then we start getting ideas, and we start having creativities going on. And I'm here to tell you that if you do your spiritual practices on a regular basis, if you meditate every day, if you do a period of introspection every day and get in touch with that peace inside of you that is God, and then you do some more introspection and you get in touch with that peace inside of you that is not God, and you go, "Thanks for sharing, but we're going to stick with God here." And if you read the spiritual literature, like Portia showed up with the Science of Mind magazine this morning, she read a daily reading from the magazine. That's all it takes. That's all it takes. If you do all of that, you are in touch with that thing called spirit. And if you are in touch with that thing called spirit and you start setting intentions and then you start getting ideas, guess what? The yes is in the idea. I don't care if it's never been done before. I don't care if people are telling you it can't be done. I don't care if it says cows can fly and kitty cats are blue. I just don't care about any of it. If it's an idea and it came to you through your process of being spiritually connected, there is a way to make it work. And that's the deal. And so the yes is in the idea. The yes is always in the idea. So that's how we choose possibilities. That's how we stay in this place of optimism and positivity, and we get to choose and be and create new and wonderful stuff. You know, Holmes said in this section that we're going over this week that one of the great difficulties in the new order of thought is that we are likely to indulge in too much theory and too little practice. Those of you who come here on Sundays and don't do anything for the rest of the week, that's too much theory and too little practice. Those of you who come here on Sundays and then every single week every single day of the week you do your spiritual practices, that's practice, and that's how we choose possibilities. That's how we get our faith. That's how we move into this absolutely beautiful place of power where we can choose possibilities. And then the whole world opens up and the possibilities are unlimited. And it's really just an absolutely beautiful way to live. So, that's my message for today, guys.